Georgetown. I'm Beverly Enos, and this is Spotlight Georgetown. You can find us Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. on your local cable station. The cable stations that we have in Georgetown, come up and learn how to use the equipment, learn how to run the cameras. The cameras are easy. A camera is a camera. It's not so easy what the guys are doing here for the show, but you can do it. And we have editing equipment, lots of good computer gizmos and gadgets. So if that's of your interest, please let us know and we'll make sure that it happens. If you would like to be here with me in the hot seat, let me know and we'll make sure that happens as well. Or if you would like to volunteer your best friend to do that, give me a call. Okay? Today we're talking to Lonnie Brennan, and Lonnie's well known in town, and we're going to do some general information, but then we're going to talk about Lonnie's political writing and his newspaper. So, welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Again.
It's very nice of you, yes.
Again?
We've done this a few times,
Yes.
or a couple of times.
Yeah. Old friends at this. So how long have you lived in Georgetown?
Since '92. We moved in on Halloween. In fact, the house we moved into, the grass was up to our knees on open house day. We bought one of the 10th worst houses in town. And, oh yeah, if you don't mind the shot. So we're driving and coming all the way up from Salem, you know. Salem people, you need to pack an overnight bag to come all the way to Georgetown.
You need a visa and a passport.
Absolutely.
Right.
So coming all the way up from Salem, Mass, to be clear, if there's any New Hampshire. Terrible, overclouded, horrific day. It was a summer day, but it was just terrible and misty. It was a Sunday, and it was just a terrible afternoon. And I drove in, and Diane goes to meet my bride, 28 years, you know her. She goes, that's it, don't you see it? Yes, I do. Aren't you going to stop? No, I'm not. Eddie Albert, Green Acres.
Yeah.
That's the house. Actually, I fell through the porch about a year later. We tore it down and rebuilt it and whatever. So, yeah. But we knew when we bought it that when they did the house inspection, be careful of the floor here. You sure you want this? And
really?
Yeah. But, you know, it's one of those things.
Are you handy about things like that? I mean, did you do a lot of work to make the house what you wanted it to be, or did...
Still working on it.
Still working on it. Okay.
Diane's a nail gun queen. I could not cut the woods fast enough for her when we were doing, like, additions and stuff. So... yeah, but we put on a big...
Compressor or just a regular hammer and nails?
No, the compressor. She just thinks it's the greatest thing in the world. And like I said, I couldn't. And
I have one too. I love it.
Oh, cool. And when we built, it was a 24 by 28 edition with a big cathedral ceiling and wooden ceiling, because we were at some ski place up in New Hampshire with the kids.
Yeah.
From some
That's right.
program.
I remember that.
And we were trying to decide what for ceiling. I looked up and I said, she goes, that's it.
Yeah.
So it took us a while, but we learned a lot while doing it.
Oh, yeah.
So it was,
you learn what to do and what not to do.
And it was like a barn raising party, old fashioned, because we'd put up one wall, and then the next weekend the kids would scurry across to the neighbors, and the neighbors would come over, and we'd have pizza, and we'd put up another wall. So, and then we'll say, all right, next weekend we'll have it built. And
oh, that's neat.
that's how we framed it up. So, yeah.
And made friends with your neighbors.
Yes, but it took a while.
Yeah.
This wasn't a fast construction project.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, that's kind of
long board. No, that's
since '92, and it's still needs work. It's still a pit.
But it's still up and holding its own.
We're living indoors, and we're dry. I can't. Can you imagine?
With plumbing and everything.
I figured it would fall. And life is cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have family here. You have a lovely wife.
Yes. Bride of 28 years. We're newlyweds.
Okay.
So, yes, and my daughter. Well, one of them's going to college out in Fitchburg, studying to be a nurse, and another one's living in Cambridge now, just transitioning out of school and working. So, and a son who's in Colorado. He's officially made the move. He's in Colorado. He went out there to study well, I hope he sees this, downhill skiing, bike riding, girls. Oh yeah, and physics in his spare time. So yeah, he's getting his degree, got his degree in physics in December. So that's our story.
I have a relative that it was, do I go to school in New England and ski, or do I go to school in Florida and surf?
Yeah. Bizarre. I never had that option. So.
No. I mean, lucky to go to school.
Yeah, really.
Never mind where.
Very much
according
so.
to what sport you want to play.
It took me 10 years to pay off my undergraduate loans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Now, what did you get your education in?
Business administration. Yeah, from University of New Hampshire. Whittemore School of Business of Education. Whittemore School of Business and Economics is what it was at the time.
Are you working in that field?
No, I don't think so.
Have you ever worked in that field?
I don't think so. Cheeks,
What do you do for a real job?
I'm a tech writer. I do most of my work is graphics and photography work and writing assembly instructions. I work for a company down in Peabody where I do most of my work.
Computer?
Yeah, I'm living on a computer and doing mostly graphics and photography work, and it's predominantly some medical work. They do multiple different products. I don't want to mention them because it's not fair to them. You know, let's not afflict them upon me. But a lot of explosive detection equipment is what I do work for. So yeah, so it's kind of cool stuff. It's always an education every day. Well, I had gone on and got my master's degree from Northeastern in technical writing, so
Okay.
that was all.
I have 2 students at Northeastern
so,
now.
Really?
I
Cool.
have 2 Singapore exchange students.
Wow.
And I was their mother's sponsor in the 80s when she went to high school here in Georgetown.
Wow.
So I have 2 kids
What a
at
connection.
Northeastern. Yeah.
I I love the school, and I think that's
a
part
great
of the
school.
reason why one of my daughters went there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of tripped upon it.
So
I'm sorry. Have we put the audience to sleep yet?
No.
Because this is boring about me. I'm sorry.
No, but
about
it's,
that. So-
it's kind of like this is your show.
Oh, okay. Hi, this is my show. All right. So everyone's going to get free blueberry coffee rolls.
Okay.
That watches.
All right.
Is that true? You remember the
Yeah, they're
old
coming to
Joe?
your, they're coming to your
Isuzu?
house
Yeah,
to get
really.
them.
Give me time to learn how to bake. Okay.
Okay.
So I know how to bake hot dogs.
Now you've done
So-
a lot of things in Georgetown,
Me? I'm quiet and shy. You know that.
such as you were a selectman.
That is correct. Yes. But don't hold it against me.
No. And you're involved with the Knights,
Yes.
quite involved.
A little bit.
And what else do you do? Or what else have you done in Georgetown? You've got some history.
Nothing. Nothing. Yeah, I served on the Board of Selectmen. I never thought I'd get re-involved with politics. When I was in Salem, I was on the school committee for 2 terms. Came up here, and as we drove past Town Hall, Diane says, "You're going to get involved up here?" I go, "I've done my volunteer work. I'm done with that." You know, 10 years later, I got involved. Helping out with the Knights, as you know, they do really, I think, really great work,
Yeah, they
helping
do.
out with a number of different things and delivering. Last year, I
My
wasn't
favorite
able.
day is the Sheep Day.
The Sheep Day, yes, the Sheep Day fundraiser. Thank
Yeah.
you to the Olson family for
That's-
providing the sheep and
that's
all
a
the
fun
folks
day.
that do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to explain that one. That will take a whole show.
I
Actually,
think we
you
did
should
a show
probably-
on that.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do it again one year.
And they deliver groceries and things and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, the various holidays. Last year I had new knees put in, so I wasn't able to help.
That's
I
right.
did
you
drive
You
for
were
the last
actually going
one,
to
though.
come on the show at that time,
So-
but you were having knees done.
Yeah, I bailed out. Sorry about that.
That's
yeah,
okay.
I had one great right knee and one bad left leg. Long story, multiple surgeries, and so that one put me on crutches for more than 3 months. So it wasn't fun.
No,
So-
but they're all better now.
I can run. It's great.
Really?
It's like a whole new life. And I was talking to a friend of mine. He's 74 years old, and he was talking about how he's getting arthritis in his knees and stuff like that. Don't watch this, and I didn't dare say, I'm never going to have that problem. I'll have arthritis every place else, but not in
not
my
in your
knees.
knees.
Yeah, they're metal. It's like, it's great.
There's no bone to get arthritis.
I
there.
have bionic knees. It's like modern medicine. It's,
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I helped out in the community gardens for a while, too. Did that
Yes.
for a number of years.
Yeah, you did.
Great people out there.
Yeah.
And that's about it. You know, sports a normal thing. Did help out for a few years up at Erie 4 because they're just spectacular.
Yep.
I mean, oldest continuously operating volunteer on-call firefighting
Yeah.
department in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing. You know, and
In a
they
small
keep
town
it
like
going.
Georgetown, yeah.
So yeah, and tools-wise, yeah, I remember fixing some floor tiles and participating in some painting parties and things like that. They do a great job. I've just been kind of stretched, so I haven't been doing a lot lately. Although after the show, I'm going to go down the Knights Hall and mow the lawn.
Oh,
That
good.
needs mowing, and that's what we do. We take turns.
Okay.
We take turns, and
I remember
Do what we
Chris
can.
used to do it a lot too.
yeah, and he had great equipment too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and everybody misses him. If people don't know it, Chris Rich was our former Grand Knight, so he ran the whole place. He was the big boss.
He actually built this
So,
set.
really.
Yeah, he built
Wow.
the set with me. For all these things,
Yes.
wonderful question. How do you describe yourself?
Quiet and shy. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You know, me? No. I try to be awake.
Okay.
There's a lot of people that you'll see through life, and they're kind of being busy in things, and they might not notice some things that go by. And I'm a guy, so we're naturally at a disadvantage. So I try to overcome that a little bit by paying a little bit more attention. And by getting involved in different things, you pay a little bit more attention. You become a little bit more awake. You know, every minute continues. I'm trying to live 3 lifetimes in one. So this idea of sleep, that'll happen when I'm dead.
Yeah,
you know?
we
In the
only get
meantime,
one.
in the meantime, you know, I want to go skidding into the pearly gates or down below, whatever. What is that expression? There's a highway to hell and a stairway to heaven.
Yeah,
It's based on anticipated volume on each way. Hopefully, I'll go upstairs, but who knows?
Now, we're talking today somewhat about your writing. When did you
Yes.
start writing of any type?
Oh, I
mean,
don't know.
some people write as kids. They
Maybe
journal
sixth
or whatever
grade
it
or
is.
something like that.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I think this is my 8th and 9th newspaper that I've been involved with through the times, if you count, like college newspapers and things like that. So, yeah, and let's see, I've done distribution for newspapers. Actually, distributed the Boston Globe way back when, before I was married. Assistant circulation manager up in Gloucester. Same thing for the Beverly Peabody Times, which is now merged with the Salem News.
Yep.
Let's see, I did sports writing for the Salem News for Bill Kaporis was my editor. And I remember the first day, a big, huge open, no cubicles or anything like that, just big, huge open. They had some cubicles, and he's way down the end, and there's a million people between me and him, which probably means 20, okay? But it felt like a million people because I'm the first time, writer doing a story and some football story. And he yells from the end of the thing there, he goes, "Brennan, you put your lead in your 5th paragraph," or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, jeez, move it," because, it's connected.
Now,
So
did you
I
ever
learned
go
a
to
lot.
school for any of the writing? Did you take writing classes in school? Some people are just natural writers, and some people have to.
Oh no, I think I was terrible until see, I went to Salem State for 1 semester because I applied too late to UNH, and I was scared of the price tag and whatever. And I think the English teacher over there, whose name I cannot remember and I feel horrible about, saved my life, really, because I managed to get all the way through till freshman year, and when she said, "We need to work on this a little bit," and you know how you have
Yeah.
only a handful of really spectacular teachers in your life. I mean, you might have 100 teachers, but only a handful. She was spectacular, and I feel bad I can't remember her name. So that I don't know,
But she was
spectacular.
worked on your writing.
Yeah, I have to say, I had a great English class there, and I worked there for their newspaper, the Pennon, Salem State, which is great, just doing layout and things like that, getting to know their newspaper business a little bit. So when I went up to UNH, first thing I did was went to the student union and, hey, newspaper, yeah, I think I'll get involved there. 'Cause I don't have the face for TV, so.
Well, you do now.
I have yeah, don't look, people. Sorry about that.
Now, there are
So-
more than 200 newspapers in Massachusetts.
Yep.
What made you decide to produce a newspaper with 200 already being in print?
Because I'm insane.
Okay.
This one's different because
And this
You
one's
get-
known as the Boston Broadside.
the Boston Broadside, yes, and there's a cannon on the front page, a little tiny cannon for the the
Okay.
broadside, the cannon from the ship, and boy,
Like Old
should
Nancy of
have probably
ours?
used Old Nancy. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I'd need to have copyrights or things like that. And there's I didn't bring my glasses, I can't even read it, but it
That's all
says.
right.
But a couple of things it says on the front page: no fear, no favoritism. So it's about mass politics. So we're equally abusive to Republicans as we are to Democrats.
Okay.
No fear, no favoritism, just the way it is. And underneath the cannon it says, I'll hold it up and so that. The cannons of liberty are needed now more than ever. The cannons of liberty, free speech,
Which
what it
is-
says in parentheses.
which is very true.
Are needed now more than ever. So, it's, you read your normal newspaper, and community papers serve a purpose because
Right.
it's about the community and things, and their dailies or their weeklies.
And you find out what the kids
And,
are having for lunch and what
Absolutely.
mass you're going to go to
Your
and what
crossword
theater
puzzle.
you're going to see.
Yeah,
And
the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And buried inside there, this is a newspaper, but it's really done more like a magazine. For instance, somebody who affected everyone's life, whether they know it or not, was Barbara Anderson from CLT, Citizens for Limited Taxation. They had enacted Proposition 2.5, which affects a lot of folks.
Oh, yes.
Back in the past. They'd also, more of an effect that people don't think about is our auto excise taxes and how those were going up like crazy, and they affected that tax many years ago. She died recently, and it was on the news, and everybody had something. We did a 2-page, double-page spread on her.
Okay.
So it's more like a magazine type of thing. Howie Carr from WRKO, last October, I believe it was, I had the opportunity to sit down with him and do an interview with him. He had been doing a series of books, and I had the best time of my life. It was, maybe not my life, okay, but it was a lot of fun sitting down with Howie Carr, and we did a double-page spread with him in color, photos, and whatever, and just had a wonderful time. Why it was good was I just read his book, his first book of his nonfiction books. He had a lot of my first fiction book. I'm sorry, he had a lot of nonfiction
Right.
books. I just read it, and I really got into the character. It was great. And so when I started the interview, I had an old-fashioned tape recorder there and a brand new camcorder, one of these things here too, also. And I started off, and I said, "Please state your name."
Sounds like I'm in court.
He goes, "Right, Howie Carr." And then I continued. And he realized exactly what I was doing. He cracked up laughing. I cracked up laughing because I was playing the part of his character. you know, one of the
Okay.
characters in his book. And
Yep.
that's how we started it. I asked him three questions, and for the next half hour, he just went off, and I just had to sit back and relax. It was great. He just shared things with the readers.
Kind of like this.
So, sorry, yes, I tend to babble.
That's good.
So,
That's
sorry
good.
about that.
Well, that's
You
why
know.
you're here.
Yeah.
How has the internet, I mean, people are reading things online or Twitter or the web, and a lot of people don't turn a piece of paper anymore.
Right.
They don't turn pages on books. I
Right.
do. But how is that affecting newspapers in
It's
general
really
and
bizarre.
specifically in yours?
Well, newspapers are going down in circulation like crazy.
Right.
I mean, you hear it every place, and we get it every place. We hear it every place. I don't know what to say. Ours, we started off, first newspaper, I had 1,000. Okay, first I figured the web.
Date.
Okay. This is 2-year anniversary right
Okay.
now. We're doing it. It was May of 2014.
Okay.
So it's been 2 years exactly, 24 editions. And I made 1,000 copies and went to Jeff Kuhn, had a rally in Boston for Justina Pelletier. She's the Connecticut girl who had been taken by DCF and whatever, and all that political controversy that surrounded that. I printed up 1,000 copies, went there, got there early, handed them out to everybody in the world. Well, 2 years later, we're still growing very, very slowly. We're only at 10,000 copies, and we're trying not to put so many out that we crash and burn. So we just
Okay.
increase a little bit each year. So our circulation, the demand's out there. You know, it's like I said, 1,000 to 10,000, and
In
it's
2
really
years. That's a big change.
yeah, it's a dramatic change, and it's weird and spotty where they are. I mean, we're circulating papers in New Bedford. You know, we're circulating papers in Situate.
I read it
Halifax.
in the Groveland Diner. That's how I found out about
yes.
it.
Oh, okay. Groveland Diner. Yes. It's a lot on the North Shore area naturally because of proximity. Salem, I mentioned Salem earlier. I think we have like 35 outlets down in Salem. So I was just talking to a distributor today because we're looking at moving Worcester west,
Okay.
the Worcester area
That's
and
still
west.
Massachusetts,
Yeah.
kind of.
See, exactly. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's our attitude. What's beyond 128? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's beyond 495? There's something beyond 495.
Now,
so having a lot of fun with
In
it.
the days that half the people in town, in any town, not this town, this town's pretty good, but
Right.
in many towns, they don't know who their state rep is. They don't know
Yeah.
who anybody is outside of their own selectman or mayor. So how does that affect what you're doing?
Well, we're not hitting, for the most part, we're not going on the selectmen and the mayors of the towns. We've been at the rep level,
Okay.
rep level and above.
Right, so you're
And
doing state level
We're doing
politics.
state level politics. There has been some, and there will be some more coming in. You know, I know some stories coming up. Yeah, just because that's the nature of life. But yes, mostly it's state level.
Make sure I'm not in one.
Oh no, that's okay. You're fair. You're
I'm
fair.
safe.
Wait a second. No fear, no favoritism.
Right.
What we try to put in here, though, everyone loves their rep. And then they look and they say, oh my God, my rep really vote that way? And we put the bills and the roll calls. And that's what I like when we actually take the bills and print them, or letters and print them. Big enough that you can read of what's happening down the State
Do you
House.
put them into English that people can understand?
No, but we'll put a story next to it that explains what
That's
some
what
of
I
them
mean,
mean because
yeah.
they really are convoluted
Right.
craziness.
Because a lot of the bills,
Yeah, what does this really mean in life?
and how
Yeah.
many things were tacked onto it at the end before it got to the State House?
You've got it. Well, for instance, we just started doing a little small excerpt in this one. There were, to this year's budget amendment coming out of the House, there was 1,037 attachments, bills, amendments. Can I do that to camera?
1,037.
1,037. I don't know
That
if I have the
were
right
added
camera.
on to
That were added on to
an
the
original
budget.
bill.
Now, the budget itself has a lot of issues with it.
Right.
They added on 1,030. Some of those things had nothing to do with the
What's
budget.
in the budget?
Now, some of them were good bills, and that's the only way they can get attention to them. And other things were, I want $200,000 for the playground in my city or my town. Really? Well, why doesn't the residents in your town take care of that? So there's a lot of things like that. A lot of pork, I think is the term.
Okay.
Yeah, they approved over $86 million worth of pork. So I just think that when the schools and the school groups are washing cars and holding bake sales and whatever,
Yeah.
trying to get some money, extra money, and meanwhile they're spending $1 million on, what was it, a viewing pier down in Everett or Revere or Winthrop, wherever it happens to be, and they're spending $200,000 for a celebration someplace in Boston coming out of our money.
Yeah. Coming out of
It
our
just
state
seems as though the
taxes,
yeah, just seems as though the
as
priorities are a
opposed to
little
let
bit
the
crazy.
cities take care of the cities and the towns take care of the towns.
So we try to write up some of those, what they are, you know, what who
Some of the
who the
bills.
rep was, what they sponsored, what it happens to be.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's kind of sad.
Because a
when
lot of
look
times
at
you
some
see
of
the
it.
rep at social things, but you don't really know
You're right.
what they do or what they represent.
Like down in
and it says represent being the operative word.
Yes.
That's why it's a rep, representative.
Well, down in Beverly, we have Jerry Paracella, I believe his name is. I know I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, but forgive me. I thought he was a decent person. Started looking at his record.
Okay.
What a moonbat!
Well, we're
You
not
know?
going to get into specific
No,
people here.
that's okay. But that's what we do in the paper.
Okay.
We actually list the actual votes. So when you see somebody and they're like, really? You're voting for that? You're voting for that? You can look and you can decide.
Okay.
You know, same thing with the rep down in Salem or the rep down in Situate or wherever it happens to be.
Wherever it happens to be.
We try to put as many as we can into the paper. I mean,
Okay.
there's hundreds of them, so we work our way through.
Now, how often do you print the paper?
Currently, just monthly.
So it comes out
Just
once a
monthly.
month.
Once a month it comes out. Typically the first week of the month.
Okay. And where do you get the stories other than
Everywhere. And
other than what's actually being done
Yeah.
at the State House?
Yeah.
Where do the rest of the stories
there's
come from?
about at least a dozen different people that write for the paper.
Okay.
And they, whether it's somebody in Watertown or it's somebody at Waltham or I'm trying to think else, Newton or North Andover, there's something that happens, either a bill comes up or this is a fertile ground, I think is how Car would say. It's ripe for shooting. There's politics going on every place all
yeah.
the time.
It's politics
and
everywhere.
there's money being spent on every project everywhere. Every month we
Now,
leave
do these
tons
people-
of stories on the ground.
Do these people
Can't
cover
print them.
what's going on in their area, or do you have people
It
that,
depends.
like one person might
Yeah.
really specialize in
Yes,
the ecological green
right.
type reporting?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you have that, or is it just
The answer is yes. We have
you
both.
have both?
For instance, we had Donna Colorio, who is the chairwoman in the state for Common Core, or against Common Core, rather. We had her writings in there. Chip Ford from CLT, we had his writing in there
So
about a
sometimes
particular
it's where they live,
bill.
and sometimes it's issues.
Sometimes it's a topic, yes, getting a topic person.
Okay.
Steve Aylward, I mentioned down in Watertown, he was the tank the automatic gas tax. His attitude was, and him and Jeff Deal, Representative Jeff Deal, were behind that, and other people too, automatically increase the gas tax every single year. We're already paying you the gas tax, and you're taking 49% of it and you're throwing it into the general fund, and you're only paying 51% of it on the roads where it's supposed to go. When you start putting a little bit more towards where it's supposed to go, then we'll give you more. In the meantime, what are you doing increasing?
Okay.
Because it's not being increased for the roads, it's being increased for other things.
So that's the types of thing that you've been
Yeah.
into. We'll keep it a little more
Exactly.
general.
No, that's
Now,
okay.
what are the types of stories that really are the stories on the issues, or are they stories on people? Not using names.
I would have to say I have to use one name here. And it's fine. I think it's fine. I would have to say that the Justina Pelletier case had to have been probably, still to this day, DCF, which affects so many people in the states and so many families in the state.
Yeah.
And that case was just kind of the tip of an iceberg. There's been several deaths, etc. The Jeremiah Oliver child. I would say those people's stories about what's happening and what can you do to make things better. I think we get more feedback and more interest on those than any crazy bill about a $200,000 gazebo or $130,000 for this or those kind of things. So I'd
Now-
say those kind of issues are probably the most prominent.
But newspapers like the Boston Globe or
Right.
the Lawrence Eagle or the Georgetown Record, they
Oh.
cover all those types of things. What makes
Oh.
yours different?
I don't know. Chicks, I guess you have to read it. You know? I think that
Okay.
I think they're more like butterflies is the way I take them. Two things. The Globe I see, my opinion, is that if I read an article in the Globe or
the
in some
Record.
other record or
Or the Herald or whatever
no,
the,
I want to hit
whatever
the
the
Globe
newspaper is.
specifically. If I read the Globe specifically, look, I grew up delivering the Globe. I grew up in front of St. James Church on Federal Street down there in Salem, hawking the Globe, selling the Globe. We had a little booth out there. The priest would come out. He approved the paint color and stuff like that. A little wooden booth. We'd hide it around back during the week. It was on rollers and would sell newspapers. So wow, I forgot all about that. I really do have ink in my veins. And but I read something in the Globe, and it's got a spin to it. I'm not getting all the stories. Just like when if I see something on Fox TV, There's kind of a spin to it. Everyone has their own little
Yeah,
flavor.
don't you think everybody does?
Yes, and I'm sure we do too. And so what we try to do is put a little bit more. So there's less stories, there's
Okay.
less ads. It's a small, tiny paper,
But more information,
but
in-depth
more information about it, and
Okay.
more. I think of if you're thinking about watching the nightly news. They're going to start off, hey, we have the weather, we have the news, and we have this going on, and we'll be right back to that, and we got the great story. And they spend 30 seconds on some stories, and they're prompting the sports, and they're prompting this, and it's like, will you just shut up and please tell me what's going on with the weather, you know, rather than prompting me 3 times.
Right.
So I'll stay up late to watch it. Really? Nothing's changed since 6 o'clock. Why am I watching the 10 o'clock news? They spend a lot of time on entertainment. We don't spend that kind of time in entertainment. It's unusual to do something
Okay.
that's entertaining, so we spend more dense time on things. Oh, and we also have we do cover the National. We have Pat Buchanan, conservative writer. We also
Okay.
have.
So that's one of the bigger names that people would recognize.
Yeah, I think most folks would recognize him and Ann Coulter. She's kind of a bomb thrower. Michelle Malkin, I think, writes wonderful columns. Occasionally, we'll have in there Betsy McCoy or Laura Hollis. They're not as well known, but
Well, quite a
some
few of
people
these
might
are
know.
syndicated.
Syndicators
writers.
that we pay to have, we pay the syndicated rights to print them in here. We always have at least 3 syndicated writers in there on every month. So it gives somebody more of a magazine kind of read. And you're not going to find certain writers in your local paper. You're not going
Okay.
to find them in the Globe. You're certainly not going to find them in the Herald. The Herald will give you some nice local flavor. Same thing, Jeff Jacoby down the Globe will give you certain Globe type issues. But it's just like,
Well, I think
you know what
each,
I think? I call them
each
all
newspaper
butterflies,
has a niche.
all those newspapers. I call them butterflies. They hit a topic, they like a butterfly, they come, they touch upon it, and then, oh, there's a story over there, and they're over there. Oh, there's a story over there. Sort of like,
Okay.
a dog, oh, there's a squirrel. Oh, there's a squirrel. And we try to stay on that topic through many issues and
So
continue.
you follow it through.
Oh, yes, yeah. I mean, we must have printed, don't want to oversaturate the reader that they're like bored of an issue. But we had a series on gun and gun ownerships and, multi-part series and some good feedback on it. We need to do more on that. We had the Justina Pelletier case just continues, and now with the suing and such, that continues through. So
Okay.
we've probably had maybe 5 stories on that in the past 2 years.
So
we
it,
try
that, there
to
isn't one
continue.
story and then it just goes away.
No, not at all. No, we're trying to continue with it. Yeah.
So going from being a local politician
Right.
to doing this,
Statesman, politician has such a negative connotation. Oh my God. Yeah.
we don't have local statesmen in Georgetown. We have local politicians. Now, from
Yeah.
doing local government
Right. Nice
to
one.
being in a newspaper,
Mhm.
how does that work? How does that jibe?
It's kind of cool because I have 11 years of elected office experience
Yeah.
because I did 2 terms in Salem on the school committee. I worked for the Saugus Prime Times before they were bought up by whoever they were bought up with, doing years of newspaper reporting for them, writing up on school committees and selectmen's in a number of different towns, not just
Okay.
Saugus. So it was kind of neat being on both sides of the aisle. I like this side of the aisle better. I like getting the information out and sharing it and trying to focus on getting the information out and sharing it as opposed to sitting through meetings. I genuflect for the people who volunteer their times to work on things like financial committees, financial boards, financial advisory board, board of selectmen, school
Yeah,
committee.
the finance.
Even if you
FinCom deserves medals.
yeah, I know. Even if you disagree with somebody on where they're at, you got to realize they're going to blow it. During the course of some time, they're going to
You're not
upset
always going to
everybody
agree
that
with
they think.
anybody, right?
Right, and they're going to make a mistake. They're going to be obnoxious, or they're going to have a bad day, or they're going to be hungry, and they're in the middle of a meeting, and it's 11 o'clock at night, and this meeting hasn't, and you want to throw a Knickerbocker at them.
So you don't want to be at
But-
that end,
But they're doing the work.
right?
And you have to give them a lot of credit for doing the work.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly the volunteers. The state reps, on the other hand, nah, they're fair game. They're fun to expose what they're doing. I'm sorry about that. But
Okay.
it's just the way that it is. And
Well-
we have some good state reps in this area right now, which is really good.
Yeah, we do.
You know.
We do. Now, the paper comes out once a month. How much
Yep.
does it cost?
Currently nothing. We've been giving it out for free.
It's a free newspaper.
Yes, it's a free newspaper. That is going to change. We're going to charge $1.
Where do you get the money
you know?
to put out a free newspaper?
I'm independently poor. Didn't you know I was independently poor? Our subscribers.
Really?
Yeah, we have subscriptions in 10 different states now. It's kind of amazing where it gets sent out to.
In 10 different states?
10 different states. I was just amazed.
But this is the Boston broadside, isn't it? Mostly
Thank you.
Massachusetts things?
And we'll have people in New Hampshire and Maine and Arizona and kids away at school in South Carolina.
Retirees.
And retirees in Florida. And there's some, like I said,
Okay.
Arizona. Where else do we have it? Is it Nebraska? I forget. But I'm like, really? And it comes in, and it's like, first of all, how they find out about it, and sometimes you get the story. You know, they found out it because they were, you know, it's a son, or it's
Yep.
or it's like yesterday we got one came in. It's the son buying it for the father for gift subscription. The subscribers save us
Okay.
because they
So
pay
they
enough
pay
to
for
do
it.
the paying and stuff like that, and then we have some advertising in it also. You know, which is great. There's not much advertising, but there's some advertising in there.
Now, the printing of a newspaper, it's
Yeah.
now done, it's all in computer. It's all,
I'm sorry.
It's all computerized,
Oh yeah.
and it just,
All the graphics are computerized.
Okay.
Send it down to a printer prints it. Somebody shows up and picks it up, whether it's me or someone else, and drives 364 miles to distribute it to 14 different people who hand it out all over the state. We got 35 or 36 street boxes that are big blue street boxes mostly that are out there.
okay.
There's some other ones too. Some of them are recycled shipping crates. They're wooden recycled shipping crates with doors put on them. Oh yeah, no, this is really shoestring.
So there is a
just
lot of
barely going.
volunteer work
Yes.
in putting this paper
Yes.
out and getting it to the public.
That is correct. The only person who's making any money on this is the people who sell ads. They're the only ones that are making the penny right now. I work a full-time job. This is like, you know how some people join a bowling league
Yeah.
or get involved in something? I'm involved in this. This is my thing.
This is your quilt or your Afghan or your bowling
Thank
league
you.
or your,
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, it's relatively easy because I enjoy it just like anything else.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that are involved helping it out. It makes it easy work.
everybody
You know.
puts all their information in and pieces
Exactly.
together.
Yeah, the sad part is, and sorry for sharing the sad part, is that every month there's something that doesn't fit. And we do have a little thing that says, you know, little tiny corner underneath there. See, it says complimentary over the dollar price. We stuck complimentary for now on it. And it says all the news that fits we print. It's kind of a
Okay.
pun on the New York Times that says all the news that's fit
That
to print.
is fit to print.
Yeah, and we
Right.
say all the news that fits we print. So, and we cram everything in. Sometimes we use the borders here too, and put news in. So
Kind of
it's
fun stuff. Now, what's the future for a newspaper like this? Is this a long-term
know.
future or a short-term future?
We could be out of business tomorrow. Well, no, we have enough of a cliff. You know, we could be out of business in 3 months. I'm still surprised that it continues to go, but it is like holding a tiger by the tail, because I'm so fearful that we'll put out so much we'll get overextended or something. So we just keep it going really slowly. You know, just really slowly growing, and I'm hoping it's something that ends up alongside your Boston Globe in every single outlet in 350 cities and towns in Massachusetts over the next 5 years. Right now we're
That's a heck of a goal.
right now we're 3 years ahead of, almost 4 years ahead of where we thought we'd be. You
Wow.
know, in terms of, I figued, gee, well,
In terms of circulation.
yeah, first started off, figured, well, for 6 months we'll be online, and then we get a chance, we'll figure it out and stuff like that. It's like a week later, after starting it, I put up one edition online and said, no, forget the web. I like newspaper. Let's sit there,
is it on the
have
web
paper,
at all?
open it up. We have a website, which is lame because
But the
it's a
newspaper itself
newspaper.
is not.
Some of the articles
Some
will
of
be
the
there.
articles,
Some of
okay.
the articles will be there. If you
But
want to
the whole
read,
thing
if
is
you
not.
want to read Jeff Cooner from WRKO, we put his article up there. You know, he's wonderful. He just started writing for the paper in February. He donates his time. He doesn't make a penny. You know, he donates his time. Radio talk show guy. It's just absolutely wonderful. So we'll put some of the articles up there. We don't have the Barbara Anderson article posted there right now, but
Okay.
we will today, tomorrow. Oh, that's right. They're not watching this live. I think we're still live because I'm live with you. But we should have it within the day or two when
Yeah.
we post on the website. But all the effort goes into putting into print, and there's a little bit
It's
on the
a
web.
newspaper.
Exactly.
A black and white
A
printed.
black and white printed newspaper.
newspaper.
Well, sometimes,
Sometimes you have color.
yeah, usually it's for the 4th of July. We did do a special,
Yep.
you know,
So you've got
one
some
issue
color.
there. And for the 4th of July, when Ted Cruz was in town, one of our junior reporters, one of the college students, did did an
Okay.
article on him, so we put the picture of him on the front page there with one of my daughters. So that was fun, and I think we put a bunch of
But
color
that's what-
photos inside. so it
When
was
people
fun.
talk about a newspaper, that's what you think of. You think of somebody sitting there
Yep.
in their chair with a cup of coffee reading a newspaper.
So I read it.
Okay.
You know. Yeah. So
Wow.
it's kind of fun stuff.
It is. So you're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it. I don't know where it's going to go. Like I say, I just want it to continue to just grow slowly. The biggest thing is the readers. To go back to one of your earlier questions, the readers calling us up or sending us notes and about stories or things that they'd like to see. And that helps out a lot. So if anybody watches this, they want something covered, has anything to do with mass politics, you know, give me a yell, give me a shot.
You're
We'll
in the
do what
book.
we can. 352-6800, you know, so.
It's a nice, easy one.
Yeah, I'll do it again. 352-6800, 6800. So
Perfect.
that'll
Well,
be fun.
it will. Come back on another time?
Yeah.
Well, you're still-
I
well,
don't
when
know.
the
This
paper's
is-
still
this
going?
is really getting beat up. I mean, this is so unfriendly. I'm kidding, folks. You know, absolutely positively. Thank you so much for
Thank
this.
you very
That's
much.
wonderful.
This is really neat. I
Hope it
didn't
changed
realize
something.
that there was that much involved, and we actually had a newspaper being printed out of Georgetown.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's something
For a
different.
little town of 8,000 people, we do pretty good.
But we're growing too.
We're growing too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm Beverly Enos. This is Spotlight Georgetown. Don't forget, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. And if you want to know what's going on in Georgetown, the Boston Brightside. Bye for now.